So the other night, Donald Trump gave his very first State of the Union address. There was a lot of people that was going to boycott his address. Now, I can't do that. I have to watch those particular things so we can properly report some things to you. Now, Donald Trump talked about infrastructure. He talked about lowering drug costs in that speech. He also spoke about prison reform, which is something that we definitely need, and let's see what he's going to do about that. But he got to the topic of immigration. And when he spoke about immigration, I want to show you exactly what he said and the families that he highlighted during his little section on immigration. So let's roll that clip.
Immigrant communities will also be helped by immigration policies that focus on the best interests of American workers and American families. For decades, open borders have allowed drugs and gangs to pour into our most vulnerable communities. They've allowed millions of low-wage workers to compete for jobs and wages against the poorest Americans. Most tragically, they have caused the loss of many innocent lives. Here tonight are two fathers and two mothers, Evelyn Rodriguez, Freddie Cuevas, Elizabeth Alvarado, and Robert Mickens. Their two teenage daughters, Kayla Cuevas and Nisa Mickens, were close friends on Long Island. But in September 2016, on the eve of Nisa's 16th birthday, such a happy time it should have been, neither of them came home. These two precious girls were brutally murdered while walking together in their hometown. 6 members of the savage MS-13 gang have been charged with Kayla and Nisa's murders. Many of these gang members took advantage of glaring loopholes in our laws to enter the country as illegal, unaccompanied alien minors and wound up in Kayla and Nisa's high school. Evelyn, Elizabeth, Freddie, and Robert, tonight everyone in this chamber is praying for you. Everyone in America is grieving for you. Please stand. Thank you very much. I want you to know that 320 million hearts are right now breaking for you. We love you. Thank you. While we cannot imagine the depths of that kind of sorrow, we can make sure that other families never have to endure this kind of pain. Tonight, I am calling on Congress to finally close the deadly loopholes that have allowed MS-13 and other criminal gangs to break into our country. We have proposed new legislation that will fix our immigration laws and support our ICE and Border Patrol agents. These are great people. These are great, great people that work so hard in the midst of such danger so that this can never happen again.
Now, at the beginning, did you hear how the people were booing when he started speaking about different things with laws and immigration? Then it turned to this 2 black families. Notice the boos stopped when they saw, oh, these are two black families. See, when I saw those families, and this has nothing to do with them, I said, oh, Trump, he played them very well. You see, the thing is about Donald Trump, he may seem like he's ignorant. Donald Trump is not ignorant. You can't make over $1 billion and be ignorant or be an idiot. And that's what people underestimate him on. Trump played that so well. And I'm going to tell you why. If he'd have put two white families up there, they'd have said, yeah, Donald Trump, you see, he's just being a racist and he's a white supremacist and so on and so forth, right? But he featured a black family, and these black families were genuinely crying. It wasn't like they were faking. You didn't see anything with them to say, man, that's a stage. No, I could literally feel the loss that they felt for their daughters. I mean, I have daughters, and I would be upset. I would be extremely pissed off. And I would be just in a bad position if something like that would happen to my child, right? So you can't blame them for being there. You can't blame them for being upset. You can't, because that's the only way they're thinking. Now, Donald Trump, of course, he played it two different ways. He said, listen, I'm going to talk about immigration. I'm going to form my argument that immigrants are the ones that are just killing up everybody. And I'm going to use this black family and their tragedy to highlight that, because people are not going to attack that black family for losing their child. I'm going to say that MS-13 is a representation of all immigrants in this country, and people are not going to challenge me with that too much. See, I know propaganda. I know it very well. And that was Trump's angle, and he used that. And people didn't see that coming. But the thing is, like I told y'all, Trump not stupid. He's not. He's going to play that game. Now, one thing about the immigration particular situation and laws, etc., there are people coming into the country that's not doing good things. But unfortunately, they're not deporting them. They're deporting people who are working. Last week, they deported two fathers that drove their children to daycare. So each father dropped the child off at daycare, and ICE swooped in and picked him up. That's not MS-13 gang members. You see business owners that worked in this country have their own stuff, now in the government. ICE is picking them up. That's not MS-13 gang members. So he really can't form an argument to say that MS-13 represents immigrants when you're picking up immigrants that's not committing any crimes. You're not. We have to be careful the way they play in this game, okay? White supremacy do not want to get out of power. They know that black people and the Hispanic community is going to outnumber them. They know this. It's coming up very soon. They're going to be in the minority in this country. So they're working right now, working overtime to prevent that. So the best way to prevent that is to cause fighting between the black community and Hispanic community, and have the black community extremely upset with the Hispanic community on many things. But it takes the focus off of white supremacy and focus on them when they are allowed to do the things that they're doing by white supremacy. See, white supremacy is the puppet strings. Now, white supremacy and how they play them against black people is on jobs. I have noticed they will hire Hispanics over blacks. And then black people will look at that and say, why they getting all the jobs over black people? But yet it's the white folks that's doing the hiring. It's not the Hispanic that's doing the hiring. Now, do you have Hispanics that don't like black people? Yeah. They got some bigoted ones out there, and they got some black folks who don't like them either and act bigoted as well. It's on both sides. But what I'm saying is both groups aren't in a position in this country to control anything. White supremacy is the focus, and that's what I focus on. The Democratic Party is the one that we as black people should go after, because the Democratic Party has shown us, for after 50 plus years of voting for Democrat, they don't ever fight for black people. They don't do nothing for black people. When Black Lives Matter was speaking about different issues, they put out the memo to curve them, basically. Just give them some BS. Don't take the issue seriously. Don't take mass incarceration seriously, even though the Democratic Party is responsible for that. Don't take seriously black people need jobs. Don't take seriously black people are being slaughtered in the streets by race soldier cops, planting guns, etc., etc. Don't take that seriously. We just want the black vote. So yes, as black people, we need to focus heavy on the Democratic Party and what they're doing with the DACA situation and all that. That's just even more than how we need to get at the Democratic Party and call them to task and tell them the day has come where you're not going to treat us like your $2 whore anymore. We're not your whore. We are people. We're not going to just vote for you wholesale and you give us nothing. No, either you come up with a black agenda, not a people of color agenda, not a minority agenda, a black agenda, or we're not voting for you, period. Just like every group wants certain things, and I'm not knocking them from that. But black people got to get something, or we're not going to vote for you. It's just that simple. I'm not going to waste my time and effort fighting another group who's not in control of nothing. I'm going to take my energy to fight against the Democratic Party and white supremacy, which is just another wing of white supremacy, the Democratic Party, because they have to answer for what they're doing to black people. But at the end of the day, I know what Trump is doing. Trump trying to keep white supremacy in power. He wants to lessen the amount of brown people here because they have a lot of illegal immigrants that's here that are white from Russia. A lot of them coming over here to have anchor babies, right? But he don't talk about the white anchor babies. And you know what? I think I'm gonna do a story on the white anchor babies because that's not put out there like that. And then when they did talk about it, it was romanticizing it. But when it's black and brown people, well, you know, that they can't do that. We need to change the laws, etc. But leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about Trump's speech and how he played and used his black family to paint immigrants as MS-13 gang members.